Hendricks Gin, the world's most unusual gin, proudly presents this short documentary on what it takes to make South Africa's most peculiar and most expensive gin cocktail.
My name is Sean and I'm the brand manager for Hendricks South Africa. We've come up with something quite unusual and peculiar. We've partnered with a number of premium and also unusual partners to bring this to life. We're calling it something marvelously unusual cocktail. It's priced at 40,000 Rand. It's going to be one in Cape Town, one in Joburg and one available in Durban.
On the glorious foothills of Scotland, a small handful of dedicated individuals, under the loving guidance of master distiller Leslie Gracie, produced the world's most unusual gin, Hendricks Gin. This spectacularly unusual gin uses two exceedingly old stills, the Carter Head and the Bennett still, to distill a variety of 11 botanicals, which are married together and then topped off with the primary notes of Bulgarian rose and the English cucumber. This is a spectacularly inefficient method that results in a small batch and handcrafted premium gin. Only the very best water would suffice for our cocktail. Thus we sailed towards the freezing waters of Norway, where Svalbardi polar water extracts the world's purest water from glacial icebergs. We return to the foothills of the Zulu kingdom, to where the Ardmore ceramic art artists create exceptionally unusual masterpieces.
For the Hendricks Gin campaign, we were asked to create goblets or gin vessels. We were given a whole lot of beautiful Hendricks imagery, and we really related to the animal characters. And so the artists, their minds went crazy and they just loved it, and you can see it in the pieces. So the creative process of these pieces is the sketch, the drawing of the piece and the imagery that will inspire the artist. Then it goes to a sculptor to be handmade out of clay, then fired to create a bisque piece, then painted, fired again to be warmed, and finally glazed to create the finished product.
A brilliantly peculiar Hendricks Gin and Tonic requires a tonic worthy of Hendricks Gin. So we journey to the production facility of the proudly South African tonic water creators Barker and Quinn.
I was asked to create a peculiar tonic water for a most unusual gin. So I thought, let's go back to the roots of tonic making and hand distilled each of the components that we needed to make this very special handcrafted product. We use pine needles and wild fig, and that makes the main ingredient of this peculiar tonic water of ours. The rest of the ingredients are your citrus fruits and Indian spices, and these all went into different extractions, either with Hendricks Gin itself or with Svalbardi water, and then distilled by hand and placed into this very unique bottle with a hand-drawn label on it.
The equally odd Hendricks Gin South Africa ambassador and mixologist extraordinaire Marson Stradum is the creator of this special cocktail.
I had an opportunity to play around with a lot of rare ingredients to create this most expensive cocktail. Hence we went with cucumber and saffron shrub. Then I wanted to add a lot of South African elements to it, which is why I decided to use the Klein Constante Vindo Constance as my base for the vermouth, and using a lot of the botanicals we find in and around the city, things like the honeybush, like pine needles, like sour figs, which we use to make the tonic water with, and combining all of those into one very peculiar experience.
And with all of these premium, handcrafted, small batch and unusual elements, we were able to create the Hendricks Gin Something Marvelously Unusual Cocktail.